So you want to talk about something different? I just had an awesome conversation with Paul Wolfert out of C21 Row office. And get this. So this guy is a $20 million a year producer, does about 40, 50 units a year. All his business comes from YouTube and video content creation. He's never picked up the phone and actually made a cold call. So tune into this conversation. It's fascinating. It's some of the things that he was talking about I've never heard before. So I'm sure guys are going to get a lot of value out of it. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give us a like and a comment and subscribe for more, and enjoy the conversation.
Getting a big dose of my life right now.
I know, right? But that's good though, because I got a lot of people too that just everything seems to be going wrong right now for whatever reason. It's
nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Just starting off 2024 with a bang, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if I already told you. So then all that stuff's happening with the car, and then my wife's like screaming for me from the other room. The clothes washer discharge line, like in the laundry room, was frozen solid. We didn't know what happened, but the water is just like spewing out into our laundry room. Like, really?
Why not, right?
Of course.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah. I mean,
Jeez.
hails, man.
Yeah.
It's like a monsoon.
So I got you water.
Yeah, I got both of them.
There's White Claws in the fridge too if you want one of those. You ever had those?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've had
Oh
those.
my God. For me, it tastes like literally if you were to milk like a 9-volt battery and then drink it, that's what it tastes like.
Oh yeah, like static.
Yeah. It's just
that's my kids say that LaCroix tastes like static electricity. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's just like kind of
yeah.
I don't know. That. So what's your drink of choice?
If I'm drinking, oh, I'm a straight whiskey guy.
Oh man.
Yeah. Buffalo Trace or Jameson are typically my two go-tos. What about you?
Gin.
Gin?
I'm a gin guy.
Really?
Yeah. I know, it's weird, right? It's not something that like I worried about my kids like sipping off of. You know, like nobody's gonna like try to take the gin. Right. Like that doesn't happen. So,
yeah, I drank gin a couple times and it just gave me like a horrible hangover headache.
Yeah. I mean, like it depends on the gin. So like there's like certain brands of gin I can't touch because my wife says everything makes me sad. So she's like, I'm like, it's not everything. It's like
you get sad when you drink a little bit.
Like, I'm with certain things I eat and drink, like they just don't work well. So
interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, straight whiskey guy. Couple of those and I'm good to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't drink whiskey. Just can't.
Really?
Yeah, nothing dark.
You still like the taste?
I don't like that. I don't like anything about it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I think it makes me feel different. Again, my wife's like, it makes you sad.
You can probably pull that a little bit closer to you just to make sure we're getting you. Yeah,
there we go.
All right.
Good.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's launch this bad boy. So, Paul, we just met last week, man. It was good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
So we had the merger. We had that little event. And so this is going out to everybody. This is the CB side, the C21 side. Everyone's going to see this.
Cool. Blue and gold.
Yes. So those who haven't met you, kind of, who are you? How long you been in the business? And kind of, we'll get into your story that way.
All right. Paul Wolfert. Nice to meet you. So I have been in the business for about 9 years. My grandfather started our Century 21 office forever ago. I was making marketing material for a medical company, and they took away my commission for the ads. I decided to get into the business, make my own stuff. And I think I do pretty good.
Yeah, I was looking at the stuff because I know we talked about last year. So a little under 10 years in the business, and you did, what, just under 20 million last year?
Yeah, I did right about 20 last year, 21 the year before, and this year I'm over 20.
Okay. And so where does the majority of your business come from?
YouTube, 100%. Not 100%, but like 99%.
YouTube, right?
Yeah,
I know, because I was talking to him. I'm an old school Mike Ferry guy. Like I'm pound the phones, pick up that prospect.
I've never called anyone in my life.
Never made a cold call ever. So how did the whole YouTube channel start, and like how are you getting business from it now?
So YouTube channel started actually at the start of the pandemic because we couldn't show houses. So like being restricted in that way. For years, I generated business off of Instagram. So Instagram and Facebook, I did some paid marketing on the Facebook side, and then did a lot of constant engagement with my sphere and everything through stories. So I was doing like 3 million-ish a year just off of like straight stories. I should probably get back into that because I'm like, man,
yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not even doing those anymore. Not doing them as much. So it was just like because I couldn't go out and shoot those same stories that I was doing before, being like locked down in my house, like we all were.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to do something. So then I sat in my home office, and I started creating local content about the areas, and then just using like footage that was people had already shot that was like free use as B-roll. And I was like, this better work, and it took a while to like really start going, but now, I think it's going pretty well.
So how long did it really start for you to really see some dividends and start to see some business come in from when you started?
I'd say about 6 months or so, like 4 to 6 months before like my first client started contacting me, but the intent is different with a client that comes from like YouTube. It's different than like a social. Like if you run like a social ad or a Facebook ad and somebody's like, I'm interested in moving whenever, a lot of the people who are interested in cities and towns and neighborhoods, like they want to move. So it took a while, but it was, it's been worth it, I'd say.
I would say, yeah, not
Yeah.
bad return.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how often were you posting when you first got started, and how did you come up with like content ideas?
So I was using, there's a number of different tools out there to like help you brainstorm ideas, because for when you're first starting out a YouTube channel, a lot of it's like search based. So like, what's it like to live in Michigan? What's it like to live in Clarkston? Like, so it was all search based, and so that I would just come up with the content in that way. And I was doing about one video a week. I've really fallen, like I did pretty good last year doing videos, but I've sort of fallen off again because you get busy with business. So like you start working more on just managing your clients, and then like the content creation sort of like falls to the wayside.
Yeah, I feel you. So when you were shooting your content, did you have like a schedule laid out, or was it kind of just like whatever struck you that day you wanted to cover, or like how did that all play out?
When I'm in the mode of creating content, I'm doing a bunch of research. I'm writing a script, so I'm like, this is what the content's going to be about, and I try to come up with the thumbnail and the description, and I do all the keyword research, and then I write it. So I write it all, and then if you watch my channel at all, like everything's word for word is scripted. So I do something I call a shoot for the edit. So like I talk to a camera like this, and I talk to my editor throughout it. So I'm like, I'll say a line, and I'll say, now I want you to throw in a map of Clarkston. We're here in Clarkston, so I figured good reference. So I'll tell them, do this, do that. So then when it goes over to them, there's not a lot of questions, and it can get turned around pretty quickly to me because I'm not doing the editing.
Okay,
that's not me.
Gotcha.
Not my deal.
Yeah, I had to learn how to. So like, it's funny. I do all my editing too, but not. I mean, I do my editing. You outsource it to somebody else, but I learned how to do that just by watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Like everything that I've figured out is just watching YouTube videos.
I spent a lot of my first ever YouTube videos. If you look back on my channel, I think I had them all hidden, but now I like re-released some of them. I edited those on my own. So, but I was spending so much time sitting in front of a camera, or not in front of a camera, in front of a computer editing. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I could just pay somebody who's a pro at it, like at a high level. I went through like Fiverr and Upwork, Upwork, and a couple other places. They have like pretty cheap editors. And I found a guy he's out of California, and he's not cheap. He's not cheap at all. It's California prices.
Right.
So I pay a small fortune for my editing, but like,
pays off.
It works.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
Works. Yeah.
What, now being in this for almost 10 years, and you came from a marketing background.
Yep.
So what was kind of the biggest aha moment when you first got into real estate, or maybe what was something that surprised you about the real estate industry?
Well, I'd been around it forever.
Right.
So I grew up in it. So nothing really surprised me, but like the amount of money you can make in sort of a short amount of time really shocked me. Like I've made well over $1 million from my YouTube channel in the past couple of years. So like it's just different because I don't work as hard now. Like I feel like I was working harder when I was making marketing materials for somebody else. And now I'm like, oh, cool. I just make my own stuff, and then help people, and I'm good to go.
Yep. And are you typically more listing side or buyer side?
So with the YouTube stuff, a lot of it is a lot of this stuff is buyer side because a lot of them are relocating buyers. but forever I was like a 50-50 split, like,
Okay.
because I helped a lot of my old marketing stuff, and stuff I should probably get back into doing, is all about helping people move up from one home to the next. So like
Mm.
people who are renting and then buying their first house, and then first house to their second house. I did a lot of that, and I still continue to do a lot of it. But the real dollar volume comes from like the people who want to buy like $1 million home.
Right.
Like that's easy. I love that.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could you not?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you manage, doing 40, 50 units? How do you manage doing all that with buyers? Do you do your own showings? Do you have an admin? Like, do you have any help?
I have a full-time admin support. She does like all my contracts, so contracts, all that paperwork and everything. That was one of my first hires. Like I did that ages ago. Now I have a part-time showing assistant, and that's something that like I want to branch out more. That I pay an hourly payment. So
Mhm.
like from the time she leaves her house until the time she gets home, she's being paid hourly, and then she gets a bonus on anything that closes because of her. So
Okay.
like it's not anything that like I do, but it's if she shows it, then she gets a bonus on it. So that's helped out a bit. But a lot of the people who come in because of the channel, they want like virtual tours. So like they'll be, California, Nevada, wherever, and they're like, go videotape this house and we'll put in an offer.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And we don't meet, like they'll close and then,
Really?
yeah. Yeah. It's wild.
Wow. When you brought on a showing assistant, did you have any trouble relinquishing some control over the process, or like how long did that transformation happen?
So the showing assistant thing was pretty easy because it was like she's good with people. So
Okay.
it's not like, there's not a lot for me to. It's just like, hey, go show these one or two houses. Like it's not, take over everything. It's like I don't have time to do it.
Right.
Can you take over? So it was easier to relinquish some control. It was harder to relinquish control when I first hired an admin. So like that was like, because I was used to like, gotta get the paperwork done now, gotta get
Right.
this stuff down. And now I'm like, I set expectations for my clients. I tell them like, this is what to expect. This is when to expect a response and things like that. So that was the harder thing to relinquish control of.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you started doing your videos, were you camera shy at all? Were you self-conscious of what you were putting out there?
Not with the YouTube stuff, because I had, again, like for years I was doing so many like Instagram stories talking to camera.
Yeah.
So it was just a natural progression. It was like, all right, well, I can no longer go and show houses because no one can. Like I can just sit down and talk to a camera like this in an enclosed environment like this.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It got kind of weird because I had a toddler at home. She's trying to get in the room. I'm like, I can't do this.
Right.
But no, like talking to camera's always been fine for me.
Okay. And so what are you kind of seeing right now in the market, and where do you think we're going to end up this year? Like, what do you, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but like, what do you imagine that we're going to see? Right?
I think, so what I've been telling everybody is that I think a lot of people would agree, that if rates continue to drop, like, which I think a lot of people think that they will, man, if rates drop to 5, people lose their minds. Like even though 5 is high compared to what it was like when we were in like the 2s, but if they drop to 5, like I think that it's going to go crazy. I mean, it's already. I just had a listing, and we had last weekend, and we had 14 offers on it. So I have this weird listing plan that I've gone over with and all my listing presentations are all video too. So I've been doing that for years. I don't meet with people. Yeah. And that was always a weird thing for people to like wrap their heads around. And I'd been doing that since before the whole YouTube thing, but sometimes I'll go out to like meet with them and I check out the house, and then I do like a video consult where it's a recorded video consult. I go over the comps, I go highs, lows, and then I give them their deals. It works. So, I mean, so it was, I think Mike Ferry calls it like the 2-step or whatever. You leave the folder at the house and you're like, what do you think about the price? And I'm like, well, I can just do that virtually. So, that's where I got the idea from it. When I heard him talking about leave the folder at the door. Did you ever hear him say that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Leave the folder at the door and then be like, how'd you feel about the price? Like, well, technology's changed now. So I can like leave it at the door with an email, right? Like, and have all the comps there, and I explain everything. I'm like, this is where we want to price it. This is going to be our target. And we're good. I know I totally got off subject with
No, that's fascinating. I've never heard that before.
But so I think that the market is all the people who have been holding on to their 3% rates. I think they're going to be more, like they'll be like, okay, I can get rid of that for a 5. 5's doable.
Right.
So we're getting a lot of people that are starting to call now and say, hey, I said, me, they're like, I think we're going to be moving. And I do a lot of new construction. So they're like, can we build? Sure. You can build. So like those are easy.
I need to go back to the listing presentation video
man.
because I've never heard that before. So is that something you just kind of came up with yourself?
Yeah, because of the Mike Ferry thing. So like when he said that was like a and every time I've talked to anyone about it, like I've been on podcasts and I've been in front of rooms talking about it, and they're like, "What? that can't be." And I'm like, I'm telling you, if you record it, so I use Dub. Which is a lot like BombBomb. Like a lot of real estate agents use BombBomb. I just so happen to have a subscription to Dub. And I just go over everything. So I pull up all the comps on Real Comp. I've got my little box with me right here. I'm talking to camera. I'm explaining like, this is why this house sold for more than you're going to sell yours for. Better backyard. Like it backs to woods. Yours doesn't.
Right.
So I know you see these numbers on Zillow, but like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to list it. And then I've got a weird, I call it the 72-hour slingshot method for my listing. So we go live, we market for 1 week, no showings. Then everything always goes live on a Friday morning, 72 hours with all offers due on Sunday night. No bully offers. So a bully offer, like take it
or leave it. Yeah, you got 24 hours.
Well, whatever. Then we put all the offers into a spreadsheet, and then I do a video consult again, where I go over the spreadsheet with the sellers. So I do a video for them, and I say like, this is what I think about them. Here's the spreadsheet. You review. So a lot of my stuff is video based. So it's like, if I can just be on video or texting, I'm golden.
I've never heard that. So like even the people that you have local clients, the majority of your interaction is done over recorded video.
Yep. Recorded or if it has to be, it'll be like a Zoom or whatever. But like my initial consults are all Zoom consults or Google Meet consults. I don't meet with anybody like in person.
Have you had anybody push back on that and wanted to actually meet you in person?
No.
Really?
Well, and I think the reason for that is people find me.
Right.
Like there's like, it's just like, that's a seamless thing. Like they're like, oh, that makes sense. Like, I'm like, let's meet on video. I'm like, cool. That's greatest.
And do you feel like your client range is kind of all more of a broad demographic? Do you think it skews younger because it is more video based, or like?
So what I've discovered is a lot of the people who are really attracted to my marketing style they're like 40s and up, like 30, like mid 30s and up. But they find me on YouTube. So it's like I'm working with like millionaire lawyers who are like retiring. They're sitting around watching YouTube and they're like, I like this guy. All right, cool.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a crazy world for me, man.
It is. And now it was funny too, because you were telling me that you kind of like taught a class on how to do that stuff, and then some people actually started doing it. So now there's a little competition out there.
Well, that's I was at a Real Producers event, so we did a panel. We were talking about like new marketing and lead gen, and I talked to a bunch of agents, or I talked to a group of a couple of them approached me in particular, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "You should do it." And then now they're doing it. All right. So yeah. Now there is a little bit of competition, but it's like, it's fine, because if somebody starts creating content on YouTube, YouTube's a unique animal, because if you start creating content on YouTube about cities and you don't keep up with it because it takes a lot of work. If somebody ever finds your video and you don't have any more content to provide them, YouTube will suggest my stuff. Right. So I'm like, go ahead.
Because you're more consistent.
Yeah. So if I'm consistent and I'm continually making content, they'll end up finding my stuff one way or another.
So let's just say an agent, relatively newer, doesn't have a high budget, wants to get into this space. What advice would you give them?
So if you want to get into video marketing, I think that that stories are a really easy way to learn how to talk to camera. So like I think, and that's a really good way to just stay constantly engaged with your audience that knows you. Again, like I need to do more of it again.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. But then if you want to get involved with the YouTube stuff, you can just look at, like, if you look at sort of the things that I'm doing and try to apply it to whatever market you're in, it works. Like I know that if I create content about a city, I will get calls about that city. So like, it's a very weird thing to say, but I know that it will happen. Um, so it's not a matter of like if it'll work.
Yeah.
But like you have to like keep at it. You know, like you can't just make like one video and expect to like
Right.
make millions.
So when you're doing like a tour of a city, like what do you typically highlight? Like what the city has to offer? Is it real estate based? Is it more like personal based? Like what are you highlighting?
So that's a fun question, because if you look on if you go onto Google and you search Clarkson, I'm going to keep using Clarkson.
Yeah.
Google will say people also ask, and then they're going to give you a list of things that people also ask about Clarkson. So they'll say like the schools, best places to eat, whatever. Like it's going to give you the content to make, because it knows that people are also asking. You, Google, YouTube, kind of a thing. So so I just highlight things that people are searching for, and then I've got a couple of some like ninja tools that I use to like figure out what the trends are, like what people are asking, and I just weave those in. So I just like answer those questions, and then Google and YouTube will pull those items out and like serve them up. So if somebody's asking like, you know, whatever the question is about a city, it'll just give them that segment. You know, it's cool.
Yeah. So you kind of base your criteria off of, or the content based on what is coming up in searches on Google.
Mm-hmm. Searches on Google and searches on YouTube. So if but now I'm starting to like make a bit of a shift to things that are not necessarily search based, because now that I have like my core foundational, like I have 14,000 subscribers now on YouTube, so I'm not trying to get to my first 1,000 now. So like it doesn't really matter to me. So now it's like not so much search based. It's like, you know, what my audience wants. So it's a little bit different.
Do you get people that reach out to you about your content and stuff, and to like, I like this, or I like to hear about this, or how often does your audience actually reach out to you?
Well, that's how my leads come in, right? Like every day. You know, like I had so I I found a really good Detroit agent who works for a brand that's not us, but like he is amazing with like investment properties and stuff. And I just so happen to make a video about Detroit and investment properties. And I've never sold a house in Detroit, and I've never sold an investment property like that. But I made a video about it. So I had 3 leads come in yesterday for people out of state. They want to invest, and they know like he's my guy.
Yeah.
So like I just kick them over to him, and then the the referral checks just come in. It's very cool.
That's
Yeah.
It's so I've never like dealt with anyone in this space, so I'm just like fascinated, and I have a million questions. But so you've never made a cold call, you've never called it for sale bound, or never called an expired. It's all just been video content based.
Yep. It's been video content. So when I started in real estate, I was still working at in marketing with that company.
Yeah.
And I was running Craigslist ads because like I don't know what to do. So I was running Craigslist ads for lists of homes, and then I started to make Facebook posts. And then when leads would come in, I would text them, and I would say like, at an appointment right now, can't pick up my phone. And I got really good at communicating through text. And this is like have you ever used Commissions Inc? I know Glover.
Yeah.
Okay. So when this is a frustrating point for me. So I figured out that if I could be fast with responding to people who are interested in a list of homes, that it would greatly boost my business, right? So if I could be faster than anybody else with a text first, like a basic text, and then a basic email, and then another text asking if they got my email. So Commissions Inc. they were blown away by my ability to do this because no one else was doing it on the platform. Commissions Inc. was brand new. They're like fairly new. So they flew me in to talk to everyone and to train everyone on like how to utilize the system and being fast at responding. And they decided to go into my system and they took all of the scripts that I had written. So I had all these scripts
Mhm.
that I came up with that I thought worked really good. They did work really good.
Yeah.
Um, and they turned it into their speed to lead. They called it their speed to lead system. So then they rolled it out to everyone, and it was funny because somebody else, another client of mine, was like, "Yeah, I signed up in this site with this Jeff Glover guy," and like he sent me the same text. I'm like, "What?" Because I don't get a discount on Commissions Inc. And they just used everything that I gave.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's why I asked if you were familiar with it. Because,
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote it all. So that was my first deal. Like that's what I did first when I was first getting into real estate was ads and then fast responses, like being faster than anyone else and being able to generate a lot of leads really cheap.
Hmm.
Like just like thousands, like just tons of them. And then I would just text them, text, email, and then no calls. So I would never call them. So all of my like everyone at Commissions Inc. and everyone, you gotta call them. I'm like, but why? Like because they're responding to me and I have appointments now.
Right.
So it's yeah.
They didn't give you anything for coming up with all that?
No,
Not even a discount?
not even a discount.
That's
And
unbelievable.
I'm still with them. So yeah, man. But yeah, I've never called anyone about anything. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it though.
yeah,
Do you do video text at all?
video text.
Yeah, like a quick video text that you can text out to somebody.
I do, but I do that through Dub.
Okay.
So it'll just be like, got your message, whatever, and then I send it out. I actually just sent one from my office before I came here. A new guy found me on YouTube. They want to build, so I sent out a quick video. So it was like that was, faster for me than sitting down and texting it out. But yeah, I do that.
Okay, because I know we're starting to lead into that too a little bit with some of the agents that I work with. So, all right, we're approaching a half hour. Anything else you want to throw out there or give advice to anyone who may be listening?
No, I don't know. Just don't be afraid to try new things, right? Like
And be consistent.
yeah, yep, be consistent. Like you have to be consistent because if you can't like start one thing, then start another thing, and then start another thing, and then wonder why nothing works. Have you heard that analogy about like pounding a nail into a hole,
Hmm.
and then you like start it again, and like you're like none of them work. Well,
Yep.
that's because you weren't consistent with the one.
Yeah, a jack of all trades is a master of nothing.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here and give back. And now you got a chance to know who Paul is. We love to hear your feedback. Like this video, give us a comment, check out his content. It's great. What's your YouTube channel so people can find you?
Well, so that's a funny. It's Paul Wolfert. So like you search for Paul Wolfert, but if we can send people there, it's fine. I'm at a point now where I'm okay with it. But if you have people watch your channel that aren't interested in buying or selling, it actually hurts your channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they usually like abandon the channel because they'll watch.
Oh, right, and it skews the numbers.
Yep, and then YouTube's like, this guy isn't making good stuff. So,
okay,
but yeah, you can still find it.
Don't go to his channel unless you're trying to buy from him. So you don't want to screw up his algo. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, man. And let us know what you think. We'd appreciate your feedback, and we'll be hearing from you again soon. So see you guys.
Yep.
Great. Cool. I've never heard any of that before. So I'm like fascinated by it.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people haven't. So it's like, it's not a lot of people don't want to do it.
No. And even if they do it, like they're not going to be consistent enough to beat you. So it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone just falls off.
Yep. Yeah. It's true. But like, I don't know. I love doing it. So it's easy for me.
Yeah. Because I started really diving into, I went to Gen Blue last year, I think it was, which is like the big Coldwell Banker global conference. And, they were all about video. I'm like, okay, great. But it was all substance. There was no like meat. Like there was nothing that you were talking about. So I just started diving into YouTube. Like, okay, this video stuff. One, how do I create it? What do I need? How do I get my stuff in order? How do I get the equipment? How do I shoot it? How do I edit? How do I do all that stuff? So like I'm into like reels now, like on Facebook, Instagram, like I can do short edit stuff. I'm getting more into long form stuff, but I love doing that. So like our team of agents, that's what we're focusing on is short form, reaching out because your Facebook and Instagram is your sphere. Yep. Right. And so, but yeah, that people are going to love that.
So that's, I have a lot of discussions with people about short form compared to the long form stuff. So like if we talk about, that's probably something I should have said. With long form, your shelf life is infinite, right? Like, because if somebody's searching for, like pros and cons of living in Farmington Hills, Michigan, like that video is going to live for a very long time. Like, right. Like it's just around. Where if you have like a TikTok, like it's burns up, right? Or if you post something on your in your Facebook profile, it burns up, right? Like it's there, and then somebody has to like hunt through it. It's not really easily searchable,
right?
But I did do really well with just staying in front of people. Man, I'm freezing in here.
I know. I typically have that space heater on, and that door is why it's cold in here. But so long form content typically has a longer shelf life.
Yeah, they say it's evergreen, so it's not truly like evergreen. Like it eventually, like people will end up replacing your content.
Yeah,
but it's there. Like right now, videos that I created. Hold on, I'll pull this up. Do Not Buy a Lake House in Michigan. Posted that video like a year ago. Why everyone loves living in Ann Arbor. Like that was well over a year ago. So it's like you can like I'm continually getting views on things that are like posted forever ago. So I'd say like the shelf life's longer for videos like that. So it's good because if you post something, it's gonna live, and you can still edit it. Like you can still mess with the title and the tags and the description.
Yeah,
like later.
I learned a lot. I appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah.